The sun rises over the southern coast of Sri Lanka. A land stalked by one of nature's most feared predators. The king of these shores is a hidden hunter. A persistent and fearsome predator. Leopards here are the biggest in the world. A deer carcass has been dragged high up into the trees. The prey of a Sri Lankan leopard. Although more than capable of carrying his own weight in freshly killed meat, he allows himself a moment to rest. The rains have just ended here, and in the dry months ahead, water will become increasingly scarce. Soon, his prey will congregate around shrinking pools. He must save his energy in order to make the most of such rich pickings. Parts of these lowlands are home to some of the highest densities of leopards anywhere in the world. The only leopard population on Earth to have evolved as the top predator in its ecosystem. In India, he must compete with tigers. In Africa, with lions. But here, he can rest undisturbed. Unlike this young leopard cub, one day it too will grow into a great hunter. Perhaps even a rival to the Leopard King. But for now, it must stay out of sight, waiting for its mother to return. Young and defenseless, it would be an easy target for a territorial male. Like each new life, it has no idea of the trials to come as the dry season tightens its grip. But for now, its world is one nourished by the recent rains. This baby elephant has been born into a tight-knit family dominated by females. Mothers, aunts and sisters provide everything it needs. And this is the perfect time of year for a swimming lesson. Nearby, an adult male, the largest land mammal on the continent. Like most male elephants, he will have left his family when he reached adolescence. Now he wallows alone. In these lush times of plenty, there's no need to join forces with others in search of water or food. It's everywhere you look. Almost 50 times smaller than India, Sri Lanka hangs from the southern tip of that great continent like a teardrop. It's a landscape like no other, where thousands of mirrored lakes breathe life into the land. Edged by the Indian Ocean, saline lagoons fringe its shores. While in the north of the island, pools known as vilus dot the jungles. Natural sand-rimmed depressions which catch water during the monsoons and ebb away as the dry season takes hold. Waters which disappear beneath the mud, only to rise once more with the rains. But many of Sri Lanka's lakes are not what they seem. They may look natural, but these are not creations of the natural world. Instead, they're an extraordinary feat of man-made engineering. An irrigation system begun in the 4th century BC by Sri Lanka's early kings. They knew that while 2 monsoons drench Sri Lanka, only one passes over the dry lowlands of the north, south, and east. For much of the year, these lands must survive without rain. And so, they ordered the monsoon to be harnessed. They created a network of lakes, known to the locals as tanks. One of the most complex irrigation systems in the ancient world. The technology they used to harvest rain and conserve water is unsurpassed in the whole of South Asia. And so it was that the lowlands of Sri Lanka came to be nourished by an extraordinary collection of vilus and lagoons, waterholes and lakes. Some the work of nature, others the work of man. These hold what the ancient Sri Lankan king, Datu Sena, described as his treasure. Water to nourish agriculture and the rich wildlife of Sri Lanka's lowlands. For centuries, grey langurs have drunk from this pool. known also as the Hanuman Langar. They're named for the Hindu monkey god, who, according to sacred texts, fought battles on Sri Lanka's shores. Today, this monkey tribe must fight a different battle. They are the eyes of the jungle, constantly alert for Sri Lanka's most iconic hunter. Even while supper is served, sentinels keep watch. This is fine dining, Langar style. The tree is their banquet table, groaning with treats. Youngsters learn about the different fruits from their parents. The Langars spend much of their day sitting at their treetop table. Not all make it to the end of the feast. Luckily, other guests are more alert. Under the trees, waiting for scraps to fall from the overhead banquet, a herd of spotted deer. They too keep a lookout for any approaching predator. In an extraordinary example of teamwork between the species, these langurs and deer work together to ensure neither party are ever surprised by an unwelcome visitor. It's only by working together that the animals of the jungle can outwit this top predator. And it makes sense to have eyes and ears in high and low places. As the alarm goes up, the jungle is filled with the sound of an outraged mob. A crescendo of noise creates a very efficient form of neighborhood watch. Today at least, our leopard must admit defeat. Dawn breaks over one of Sri Lanka's most iconic landmarks. said by locals to resemble an elephant striding through the landscape. It's known as Elephant Rock. Since the days of the early Sinhalese, the elephant has been sacred. Once kept in the stables of kings, it's a creature celebrated across Sri Lanka. Its giant form lovingly remembered, even in the naming of an outcrop of rock. As the sun rises, so too do the langurs. Leaving the protection of the trees, these expert climbers make light work of near vertical slopes. Their namesake, the god Hanuman, once pursued the sun, believing it to be a ripe mango. Constant vigilance is necessary in a land where the leopard stalks. It's now days since the Leopard King's last kill. A loner, the most solitary of all big cats. While lions hunt in the open and kill with the pack, he hunts alone. A deadly mixture of camouflage and cunning. In Sri Lanka, the leopard stands alone at the top of the food chain. No tigers, like in neighboring India. The rich grass turns from green to brown. Luckily, the elephants of Sri Lanka are experts when it comes to this particular food. They have their own unique characteristics, traits belonging to no other elephant. Unlike African elephants, very few Sri Lankan elephants have tusks. Females don't have them at all, and less than 10% of males. But they don't just look different, they behave differently. And today this calf is learning a few tricks of the Sri Lankan elephant trade. Its elders swipe clumps of grass across their feet before eating. Knocking off the sand and dust that cling to their roots. Scientists don't know exactly why they do this, but one theory is that it prevents wear and tear on their teeth. It's a piece of behavior passed on from one generation of Sri Lankan elephants to the next. A way of dealing with the lean times ahead. As the weeks pass, the dry season continues to grip these lands. The northeast monsoon from October to January would have filled these lakes to bursting. But during the dry months of the year, waters ebb away as the drought takes hold. In the blistering heat of the midday sun, most creatures of the jungle retreat to the cool of the shade. Surprisingly, it's the perfect time for these young jackal cubs to be sent out to play.